have Mary.
Hi.
Do you want this?
I can do whatever you want.
That's the timer for
So
public.
there's a 3-minute button. So what you would do is at the start, you just
I've
press
got
that,
20
and then it will
people
start
coming in
on
this
that.
weekend.
Or I can do it this
I'm picking them up on Thursday just in
Well,
time
I
for the
don't
rain
mind.
start, and dropping them back at the airport on Sunday just in time for it.
I don't know.
It's like, well, you're from the East Coast, you should
Oh,
know
no,
what it
that-
really looks like with our winter
3 minutes, so
sunshine.
it'll start, press it, it will go automatically. and then
You know,
pause it.
I've always, you know, just sort of gambled, and it's always, I'm more on the sunshine side, because I used to do a summer park, outdoor, since everybody started playing, and, everybody would shake their head and say.
You can just press the 3-minute button.
Okay, well, maybe your wishes will be able to take it, but
It's
it's
just a little
certainly
thing, you gotta kind of point it the right direction.
I mean, I think August is predictable, but June is can be
Yeah,
pretty dicey. I told these guys that, I'm like, you know,
and it is quite loud, so if
Love
you
having
have an
them come out
opportunity to
here.
stop it before it beeps, I think that would be.
bring a puff jacket,
It'll-
In during June.
Well, it won't
But
bother
then
me, but.
September, October.
I'm just trying to get it to stay at 3.
Well, I mean, we need the rain, for sure. I mean, everything's drying out.
Okay, thanks, Kyle.
You ready, Skylar?
I'm ready, yeah.
Hey, Scott,
Yes.
can you come here real fast, please?
Sure.
Okay, you're not ready.
Hold 1 second.
I can make 3, but I don't know how many.
You know, but this is, no, I agree. I know that these numbers are right, so I'm guessing that this number didn't get updated. for some
Well,
reason.
okay, that's what so I don't know if it's on.
Awesome. Right?
I'm gonna stop it at 3.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out either, but I think the best way is just pause it now, and then when someone starts talking, if they have public comment, you press the 3 again. To give them the full 3 minutes.
I think there should be more.
Like,
Because that's the, there's my.
So when are they coming up, or is it a?
It's
I don't know,
it's
this
just
is
combined.
fine.
No,
Okay,
Oh.
which is fine. I think there's
Oh.
more.
It's 33.
we're missing a couple of words.
It's white.
Okay, the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District, this is the board meeting. If you're here for the board meeting, you're in the right place. And it is Tuesday, June 23rd. And Sue, would you lead us?
I pledge
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I am going to change the agenda ever so briefly. Skylar wanted to make an announcement.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I didn't have an opportunity to get this information before we produced the board packet, but I wanted to share and offer the district's condolences to Tom Horning. Tom passed away on May 29th, and I know Michael was on the board with Tom, and I hope that this doesn't come as a surprise to anybody, but for whatever reason, I just found out about this in his passing today. Tom was 72 years old, and he was on the district board, I think, from around 2010 until 2016. He was on the board when I was hired, and that was a really special relationship for me because Tom was a really amazing person, so knowledgeable about geology and tsunamis and tsunami awareness, and as most of you probably know, he went on to serve on city council with almost a singular focus on raising awareness about tsunamis and replacing or improving infrastructure of the bridges in our community. So I just wanted to kind of, I guess, bring that to the board's attention and just offer our condolences to Tom and to Tom's family. And it sounds like there will be a celebration of life in July, and I can share more details about that if anyone on the board would like to attend. I also want to share, the reason why this came to my attention is because R.J. Marks wrote a story about Tom, and it appeared in my email inbox today, but I think it's a really great story, and it kind of captures the personality that Tom was, and his life's work, and his childhood and growing up in Seaside in the 1960s. And anyways, sorry to share this news if you hadn't heard it, but I felt like it was appropriate for the district to honor a really respected community member and a person that served on this board for quite a few years.
What's our protocol? Do we send flowers, cards?
Yeah, we don't have one. Oftentimes we do send flowers. I did notice that in what I could find online is that the family wasn't accepting any flowers, but maybe there's another way that we can reach out to them and let them know that we're offering our support and condolences at this time.
Okay, does the board need to sign a card or anything?
If we do a card, maybe I'll get one to you or leave it at the front desk for you to sign. Thank you.
Tom was instrumental in a lot of areas of emergency preparedness, and with me with CERT, he is the speaker that I brought forward to introduce tsunami awareness again to our area. And then I told him, prepare a second lecture, and COVID hit. And so he said, I've got that second lecture, Sue. And then I hired him to actually help out with some information regarding a road situation, building situation up where I live. And he came back to me with, you and I are done, because this is a bad idea. I want no conflict of interest, so I can vote no on it. And then he was felt with heart issues, and he came back to me saying, I am not going to be able to ever make a speech for you. And I said, we'll give you time. And I would watch him recover and walk a little bit more each day. And this was an amazing man, a giant of a man in our community. And I am very sorry to hear of his passing.
Thank you, Sue.
Michael might have something. Did you have something?
Well, yeah, I could go on and on. Tom was great. I've known for 2 or 3 weeks that Tom had died through a close friend of his in Neo Maines, and he was an advocate for parks and recreation. A real leader in the community with helping secure the mill pond purchase and the Neoconi, the Neocoxy Gateway. Those things. He was a liaison after he was elected to City Council to the Seaside Parks Advisory Committee, which I was on for 20 years. Tom was on that from the get-go also, and was instrumental with Neo Maine and others with bringing together the National Natural History Park, the Mechanical Estuary Natural History Park. So, and he's been very important, part of our board as well. So I know his wife is been treating things pretty confidentially and quietly, and we've respected that, and we might need to respect it a little bit more. We'll see what comes out, but I'm glad to hear there's a celebration.
Thanks for reaching out, Skylar, and let us know if there's something we need to say. Declaration of potential conflicts, Catherine. Sue.
No.
None for me either. Proclamation, July is National Park and Rec Month.
Recognizing the month of July as Park and Recreation Month for the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District. Whereas parks and recreation are an integral part of communities throughout the country, state, and region, including the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District, and whereas parks and recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, And whereas Parks and Recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourage physical activity by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation are a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation are essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and national recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources, now therefore be it resolved by the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District that July is recognized as Parks and Recreation Month.
Thank you, Catherine. Do we need a motion on this?
No. I also just included some facts and information. I think this annual tradition provides staff with an opportunity to review materials that we get from NRPA, but more importantly, it helps us to realize the impact on the services that we provide and the services that we aim to provide and the importance of these services in our community. I know we all know that, but sometimes I think we get lost a little bit in the day-to-day stuff and forget the big picture of what SEPRD was designed to do and who we're tasked to serve and the impact that we can have in so many different ways on individualizing our community. So I hope they will find some of these facts and information or the impact areas put together helpful as you also are such a big part of the mission of the district and the population that we serve.
Thank you, Skylar.
Yeah.
Public comment. Who's first?
No, you got your hand
rock,
up.
paper, scissors.
All right. Okay.
Don't start. This is
Okay. Oh, you did the 30-second one too. It's okay.
This is time to bite your nails. There you go.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Very good.
Bob Heyman, 81305 Highway 101, Cannon Beach. I came and spoke to you all about, I think it would be in the March meeting, about the need for a swim club. And we have, with Skylar's blessing, we have proceeded. We got a club registered with little arm twisting in April, and we have held to our schedule to get started. So we held our first practices on June 15th, so last week, first set of practices. Amanda's doing a great job. Unfortunately, our marketing and some of the administrative things took a while to get going, so we really didn't get the word out like we should have, but we had 10 kids in the water last week. A handful of little kids, a nice core of 5 or 6, 11 to 14-year-olds, which is great. And then the high school swimmers are still trying to figure out how they negotiate their jobs. There's other activities to get in the water. But we're offering those kids 4 2-hour sessions a week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And hopefully, we'll continue to ramp up. So we also were successful in getting an invitation from Newport, so we are on the list. And when that comes out in July, we will be submitting a roster, and hopefully we're going to have the 20 swimmers that we committed to get there. So that's going to be really, really exciting. So we have been working on some branding just to make it a little bit more exciting than what we started with. And so at Amanda's idea, we're sort of refocusing on the shark theme and the shark logo, which was the original Seaside Swim Team branding back in the day. And so hopefully this is going to be out on the website with Skylar and Savannah's approval this week, and hopefully we'll attract some more swimmers. So we're off to a little bit slow start, but I think hopefully we're going to get some momentum. We all know this is a trial, and so Carol and I are watching it very closely. You know, how does it work in terms of uptake from the community? How does it work in terms of working with the management as an institutional team? You know, we've got some choices about how we actually organize this. And we are actually registered through the end of the year, so if things work out this summer, we do have the capability to swim through the fall season and the ice school season, which would be a great bonus for some of the kids to get started. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bob.
This is exciting.
Very.
Quick before it goes off. There.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the board during very late, 1668 Whispering Pines Drive. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board during the May 26th public meeting of SEPRD. I was really thrilled with your swift direction to staff not to proceed any further for the proposed closure on pools on Sundays and most holidays starting June 13th. I also was complimented that the chairman of the board encouraged and invited us to fill the pool. There's no question about public agencies needing to be fiscally responsible for our public dollars. And the efficiency should always be in place to reach sustainable growth and development. To help me and others understand the district's mission, I also included questions in my written comments last month that I would like answered by either staff or board. The questions come from my review of the fiscal year 26-27 budget. So many ideas are starting to come to the surface on how we can rebuild our existing programs by inviting our communities back to the pool, and for those new to the area and those who have not experienced the benefits piquing their curiosity to go swimming. I know Jennifer and Tara are keen on promoting the pool and understanding your new technology that you're using to notify existing patrons of changes or new programs. And I understand that Skylar, Lindsay, and Amanda are meeting with Carolyn and Bob, and that was a great report. Thank you. I'm interested in helping the aquatic staff to meet the new public safety rules around kids 14 and under that Skylar shared at the meeting. That would be the buddy system. But I think, Skylar, if you haven't heard the news flash that, yes, they pulled it. It was stupid. Yeah. No, I was serious.
No.
However, I do believe in efficiency measures to maximize use and maintain quality. So from a daily swimmer's perspective, I see a glaring difference from how we staff the deck to how the deck is staffed now with lifeguards. I also am swimming a lot in Nehalem. I would highly recommend that the staff talk to our neighbors and how they are embracing their new facility and staffing. By this I mean all my lap swim experiences since the board meeting has had 3 lifeguards and a receptionist on even this Saturday during the long 11 to 3 lap swim. There were 4 lifeguards on at 11:30 with a receptionist. That means for about 4 lap swimmers, there were 5 staff members in the building. Good news is that I'm seeing staff rotate into the locker room and work on the showers and the floors. And my last 2 say, okay. I eagerly look forward to hearing, come on, fine. Okay. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. And I'm trying to turn these in. I didn't see them in the packets, the letters to the from folks. But so if they do get in the packet, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay. This is Joe.
Yes.
Correspondence. Can I just ask a ever so brief question, and it's gonna sound silly, but what is our legal name?
Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District.
Park plus sign recreation or park ampersand recreation?
That's more of a, that's less of a legal thing and more of a marketing and display, but we use the plus sign for our marketing displays.
So the plus sign is just marketing, but the ampersand is legal, or is it the word and?
The word and.
Okay, because I've been doing it wrong in my communication,
So the ampersand is the what we use?
No, it's the word and.
Okay.
I use the ampersand all the time.
Yeah,
We also use the ampersand.
I go back and forth, and I feel like I should do it the same way all the time. Anyway, sorry about the diversion. Correspondence?
Yeah, you have two items of course, well, I guess technically three. The first is, sent correspondence that was sent to, the Seaside City Council and ODOT, as well as Spencer Kyle, the city manager. Most of you have been involved and provided feedback on some, intentional communication to ensure that our needs and, for the SRC were met, and as the city is considering some renovations with ODOT to the Broadway and Highway 101 infrastructure. And happy to share, I think our correspondence did make an impact, because yesterday in the city council meeting, in their motion to adopt, or to, move forward with the parking preservation plan, they also included a special request to ODOT that they work with SEPRD to mitigate the loss of those, drop-off and pickup spaces and our bus parking, just on the south side of the SRC. So that's a really important development for us. ODOT responded to an email from the city manager and said that they would be reaching out to the district for, to help coordinate that, and I think that's a really as good of an outcome as we could have asked for. The other correspondence that you have, we received, and I'm not sure, but I think maybe the board also received, either in their emails or their personal address, but it's from the Secretary of State in the Audit Division, and there's some requests or information that they disclosed about an audit that they received from July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, so a year or two ago. Our auditor at the time, Rick, responded to them, and I just included that in the packet for transparency.
I think it was like best practices,
Yeah.
not necessarily like findings.
Correct, yeah. I thought it was unusual. I don't think we've gotten a letter like that, at least in some time, maybe ever. So I'm not sure if the Secretary of State's Audit Division is doing things a little more different, but, yeah, just included that for.
It's a little concerning, though, isn't it, to get a letter from
Well, like I said, I think
Secretary of State?
It could be, unless maybe this is something that they're doing more of. Like maybe a lot of local governments might have some little tweaks or best practices that the Secretary of State is asking for them to do, but they've just never sent formal letters like this before.
Well, on number 8, it suggests that we had overspent our appropriations, which is concerning. I think the board is on the hook for that. We have some exposure to that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree, Kyle, but I would rely heavily on what Rick said in his correspondence back. He said these are mainly minor discrepancies. Later, he said the items that weren't corrected are insignificant and somewhat subject to interpretation. Therefore, simply pass the letter on to the new auditors. And he apologized for the discrepancies. So.
I mean, it says in that last paragraph, we're not requesting a revised report. Please consider these issues when future preparing. It just sounds ominous.
Well, I didn't pull out the budget and cross-check any of this stuff, but, or the audit, I did not pull it out and cross-check. Maybe I should have, but I wasn't too bothered by anything until it said that, we failed to disclose over-expended appropriations.
Yeah.
And I don't want to receive any more of these letters.
I mean, it just sounds like,
I don't take any.
Okay.
We've sent this correspondence to our new auditors, and, he said that that was normal and that he appreciated us sharing it with them. The other, I mean, it's not for this most recent audit that we received, it's for one year.
Oh, I didn't look at the year.
It's for the fiscal year ending in 2025, so.
So last,
And why does it say
well, that's the most recent, that's the most recent one.
Yeah, it's the most recent, sorry. Yeah, just the dates got mixed up in my head. But
Well, I was curious why they picked the 20th, not the 30th. In number 3.
yeah, I wonder if that's a typo.
Seems curious coming from such a long.
But you're confident that this is fixed, that this isn't gonna happen again?
Well, we're switching auditors, not because of this. The timing of it is just kind of, I guess, unique, or different than, I think if we were moving forward with Rick, then maybe there'd be an opportunity for him to improve, but I think we have to give, Clear Trail CPA an opportunity to, get things more right.
Shut their stuff.
Button them up and, yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything more on that?
No.
Recognition of employees of the month. Let's see, Catherine, are you reading
I can
Jessica?
start. Jessica Contreras is the employee of the month for June 2026. Congratulations to Jessica Contreras, our toddler lead teacher, our May employee of the month. Jessica exemplifies nurturing, dedicated teaching, and has helped establish strong routines to support our toddlers' growth and success. She has also set a high standard in preschool aftercare, positively impacting both staff and children through her leadership and example. She's always willing to help, collaborate, and support her team. Jessica makes a difference every day. We are incredibly grateful for her dedication and all she brings to SEPRD. Thank you, Jessica, and congratulations on well-deserved recognition. Yay, Jessica.
Thank you, Catherine, and yay, Jessica. Hunter.
We have a second employee of the month, Hunter Shakespeare. I'd like to congratulate him. He has been serving the district as a lifeguard for the past 2 years and was recently promoted to head guard. He consistently demonstrates an outstanding work ethic and is always willing to work throughout the school year whenever he is available. Hunter has been a valued employee whose dedication, professionalism, and willingness to help have made a lasting impact on our team. In his new leadership role, he has quickly become a great leader and a role model for his fellow staff members. We are grateful for all of his hard work and proud to recognize his contributions. Good job, Hunter.
Way to go, Hunter. Thank you, Celeste.
I keep wanting to put an E on the end of his name.
Yeah.
Skylar informs me that there won't be a staff presentation tonight just because we got really full, board meetings. And there's some conflicts with the presenters.
Yeah, but both, we actually had, or originally had 2, but both Lindsay, our aquatics coordinator, and Chris, had some other commitments, so they'll be back soon to share some information, and I think the board will appreciate both of those presentations, especially Chris, as he will work to kind of recognize some of the volunteer efforts at the new site.
Chris does, an annual kind of volunteer appreciation.
He does, I think more frequently than annually. I want to say it's either monthly or quarterly that he tries to get his employees some recognition. Or do something.
Can those recognized employees come, or volunteers come before the board? So
Yeah,
we can
I think that was
recognize
part
them?
of the reason for the delay and not having Chris present at this meeting, is he wanted some extra time to maybe coordinate that.
Oh, okay, good.
We also wanted to remind or encourage the board, if they haven't been able to come to the meal site, either as a diner or a volunteer, that he would love to have you there. So Monday through Friday from 11 until about 12:30, you can come and help volunteer, prepare meals, bus tables, do dishes, even drive if you're so interested, or you can come and dine. There's been some really yummy food lately.
I stopped in, I don't know, every 6 months or so. I mean, just to check in, and Chris does such a great job. It's really an asset to the community. Budget.
Yeah, it's, that time, we're into our June meeting, so this is from what I can tell, this will be our last meeting of the fiscal year, so we need to adopt the budget. The only, change, and there's printed, packets of budget materials for you. The only change that was made is a reduction in the contingency line, and that was to shift, $25,000 to aquatic services for personnel, and that was in response to our meeting in May, and the change that we made to stay open, continue those operating hours on Saturdays moving forward. So all of the other line items in the resolution are the same as the budget committee had approved. And what you'll need is someone to read this resolution in full, including all of the lines and all the way to the bottom, and then we'll need signatures by the board chair and the board secretary on completion.
I think we need to have a discussion first, and then maybe a proposed motion. And
Can I do something first? The nurse and maid,
I think you're going to.
I am going to do this because this is a potential seizure.
We can,
I don't know how to turn it off.
that's fine.
Yeah, but I know how to
No
take care of
power
seizures, so.
There is
No, we can, I enlisted help. Yeah. So, thank you. None of these.
One of the things I heard at the, meeting last month, some of the swimming presenters mentioned it, and it kind of stuck with me a little bit. It was actually a nice piece of analysis, and there was some concern that we are foregoing current operations in exchange for future build out. We're transferring some of our operations money to upgrade the SRC, and I know there's a delicate balance there, but I want to make sure we're able to handle the things we have in place now before we take away from those to, build something for the future. But, building for the future is important too. That's our future rice bowl, and I just want to make sure that we're not allocating current resources to future projects at the expense of what we have in place now. And just a general statement, I'm not making a specific allegation, but I think the community said that, and I think it deserves some analysis. So when we come back next year with the budget, we can make sure we're balanced between the future and the present.
Yeah, Kyle, I actually agree with you, and I think this is part of, for me, the pressure to get the strategic plan done, so we're in a better position to be, because I think a lot of the projects that we're taking on to increase our capacity and provide the array of options that we want to provide, that, that the community is calling for, I think they are grant fundable. I mean, I think we need to be more proactive, and it feels like and without having that umbrella plan about what to go for, I think our strategy is maybe been a little too ad hoc in the past, where we see a grant offering and we just say, well, what can we do with it? We write, but what I've noticed is I don't think we're writing enough to cover our extra staff that it takes to do those types of things, and we're not out ahead far enough. And I think it puts us in a position, particularly with the SRC, I think it just was more expensive than we thought it was going to be to get to a place.
Well, and we had some revenue items that, some renters that backed out.
Changed, right.
And I get that, but I think just the general perspective.
I agree, yeah.
That comes from the community, it's like, hey, don't do too much for the future if it's going to take away from what we have. That's what I heard. It won't affect this budget. We've already adjusted for this budget, but as we develop next year, then maybe.
Mary, you said you had questions that were written in a correspondence. Did they come from, did they deal with budget?
Yes, they did, and I haven't received anything in any kind of written form to answer those questions.
I think we need to answer those questions.
Well, that's, some of it is staffing, and I think that's Skylar's bailiwick, you know, he can structure the staffing to whatever makes sense, and if there's issues or other options, then I don't think the board ought to decide how many people should be on the pool deck at any one time. That's an operations issue, not a strategic issue.
No, I just think community concerns should be addressed.
Yeah, and that's why I brought it up. I just want to make sure that that doesn't fall off the plate. Are there any issues or concerns about the budget?
Well, you know, apparently, we are not gonna have any contingency funds then.
We'll have 25,000.
We will have.
We
25.
had 50, and we'll.
Okay, what line is that on?
Well, this is the official budget. This is what we turn into the state, and it's here.
Yeah, okay, I see 25 over there. Operating contingency, all right.
It's on line 59 of the summary sheet.
Now, this is going to affect our ending fund balance, isn't it?
Did you send something out and I didn't get one? I don't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it at home.
We're committing to about an $800,000 trend. Was that gonna be 833 now?
I think it's gonna be actually less than 800. We overestimated at the time of the budget committee meeting, but we're looking at a number that's closer to 600 right now.
And the contingency.
I thought it might be lower.
The contingency transfer won't affect that, but it will affect the ending fund balance. Okay, any questions about the budget?
I have no further questions.
Does somebody want to make a motion and read the resolution?
I can do that.
Or I can pass the gavel.
Yeah. Kyle, you can do it.
I gotta pass the gavel, I can't make a motion as the chair.
Okay. So it would be, I make a motion that we accept the budget as,
Adopt.
that we adopt the budget and number 2026-2027-05.
And then you have to read the whole.
I have to read the whole thing before it's
Including-
seconded.
I think you wanna get your second and
Then read that.
then.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
So thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District hereby adopts the budget for the fiscal year 2026, 2027 in the total amount of $4,291,919. And 0 cents. This budget is now on file at district offices located at 1140 Broadway in Seaside, Oregon. Making appropriations, be it resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 for the following purposes. General Fund, Administrative Services, $758,525. Maintenance Services, $433,380. Aquatic Services, $658,010. Recreation Services, $132,992. Youth Program Services, $677,715. I will learn English someday. Community Center Inc. Services, $120,240. Special Event Services, $110,390. Broadway Field, $36,100. Sunset Recreation Center, $196,580. Debt Service, $906. I have my 966. Yeah, $966,058. Thank you. Transfers 0. Contingency 25,000 with a total of $4,114,990. The capital fund, located in the right-hand column, personnel 0, and their materials and supplies 0. Board discretionary 0. Capital outlay zero, debt service zero, contingency zero, total zero. And so total appropriations, all funds, 4,114,990. Total unappropriate and reserve amounts, all funds, 176,929. Total adopted budget, 4,291,919. Imposing the tax. Be it resolved that the following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district for the tax year 2026 to 2027. One, at the rate of 0.9280 per $1,000 of assessed value for permanent rate tax. Categorizing the tax. Be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for purposes of Article 11, Section 11B, as subject to the general government limitation. Permanent rate tax, 0.9280/$1,000. The above resolution statements were approved and declared adopted on this date, signed Kyle and me. Sue Cotton.
Is there any discussion about the budget? I've just got one point, and I never see this in government, but the budget that's up for adoption right now is actually less than our budget last year. That never happens. And I don't know how you pulled that off, Skylar, but that's rare in government.
We trimmed everything, so it's.
Well, I mean, we didn't get some revenues that we anticipated, and I think that affected it. But I think if there's any issues about this organization not paying attention to the budget, I think that makes those issues go away. It's clear that staff is pretty focused. Is there any other discussion? So, vote. Catherine?
Aye.
Sue?
Oh, aye.
Celeste? Michael?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion carries. The budget for 26-27 is adopted, and Sue, you need to sign this. And let's move on. Board meeting minutes for the May 26th and June 9th workshop.
And I will say Kyle has it updated. He sent me one correction and Sue sent me a couple of corrections. Those changes have been made in the official ones that will be kept for the records. Thank you for that feedback.
Mine was just a scrivener's error.
Yeah.
It had no impact on the message.
If there's other changes, I'm happy to address or.
Is there a motion to approve the May 26th meeting minutes?
I make the motion to approve the May 26th, board minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, Catherine?
I'm gonna say,
Sue?
Aye.
Celeste?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion carries. June 9th workshop, approval of minutes. Is there a motion? You correct all that.
So I have a question. Have I just never noticed that under the conflict of interest, you ask but we don't declare none?
No, I think, for whatever reason, I omitted it from both sets of these
Okay.
minutes in the original document, so.
I just thought it was
I
strange.
added that to the edited version.
Yeah.
I always write if there is one or if there isn't.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the board workshop minutes from May 26th.
No, June 9th.
What?
Just the June 9th workshop. May 26th was a board meeting, June 9th is a work.
Oh, I think it's the
Well,
date
May
drawn in
26th
the top.
is-
It's got the wrong date on it.
So, we use that.
I was reading what, so now you want me to go
Wait a
backwards?
minute.
Yeah, the workshop was on the 9th.
Yeah.
We have to correct.
We have to go back and make another motion? Come on, Mike, here we go. So I
Well,
move,
just the one you're doing now.
Just
You
suggest the change and
Yep.
make the motion with the edit, with the
Just
suggested
take the
change.
workshop one, so we already did that.
yeah, so I make a motion to accept the board workshop, May 9th, June 9th,
Ninth,
June 9th,
with the correction of the header,
with the date,
the date on the header.
and with the changes that Adam made.
Okay? Is there a second?
Second.
Catherine? Sue?
Accept.
Yes.
Celeste? Michael?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries.
Is that one of the director's dogs? Just want to make sure.
Well, if it was my dog, it'd be a lot deeper and lower than that.
You didn't bring your dog?
My dog would never be in the car
All
here.
right, I'm just making sure.
There's a little one that's in the lot there.
It's probably barking at Maggie and.
So she's a German Shepherd, very bigger bark. Isn't there a dog right over there?
Yeah, when I
Probably
pulled up,
barking
it
at-
started barking
Probably
at the car,
barking at
so.
Maggie. Let's see, review financials. It says May of 22, that's right, it would be May, wouldn't it? So financials, I had some questions on this. Lots of questions. So in the packet was the contract with, for Northwest Senior Meals, and I was just trying to find that in the budget, but Skylar pointed it out to me, so I think that is. So under the Sunset Recreation Center, our revenues are 34% of anticipated, which we understood, we get that. But under materials and services, we've spent almost 200% over that line item. Our revenues are 34% and our expenses are 200%. That's one issue.
Yeah, I think, I can provide a little bit of context, but I think the board recognizes at the time of creating this budget, I think we had optimism of, perhaps overly optimistic of some of the revenue capacities. We had a renter in the space when we generated this budget. That was one of the things we also expected, I think, to have occupancy at some point and to just be able to generate more revenue with the SRC. That hasn't come to fruition, and at the same time, double-edged sword a little bit, the expenses for getting to the point where we're at with occupancy have also been substantially more than we estimated. That's the reason all of those contracts, all of the resources that we're using, all of the expertise that we're trying to pull together to get us to occupancy and full usage of the building is in that expenses line. So it is substantially more than we budgeted for.
We're not gonna have a audit issue, are we?
I don't think so.
Okay. And then my second question, and this shows up on every financial statement, is personal services work breakdown. And the total number of FTEs listed is 46.46, which I think is what it was when we passed the budget, right, when we had our budget meeting. But is that a budgeted number or is that actual?
I'm sorry, Kyle, I don't know if I understand the question.
The 46, at the bottom
I
of
see the number.
So is that the number we budgeted for all of these services, or is that the actual number of FTEs we have to quote?
We don't have 46 FTEs. We have 11, including myself.
11 full-time employees, but the aggregate of the part-time employees adds up to FTEs, right?
Yeah.
So are we under that number? Are we replacing everybody as soon as they leave, or?
I think that's the general goal. I mean, sometimes we have opportunities when someone leaves to create efficiencies within the workforce and find somebody maybe that can cross-train and do multiple jobs. But generally speaking, we don't have employment opportunities that aren't essential for our programs to operate, or for the support roles the support roles that are needed to operate programs. So yeah, when someone leaves, we do try to fill
So
those
it just
positions.
bounces along that 46 FTEs per year? Okay. Any other questions on finance?
I was,
Catherine had her hand.
my only question is the Broadway Field Fund, are we waiting on money?
We did receive some monies from our partner. They came in June, so they're not recorded in the May
That's fine,
financials.
I just wanted to.
That
make
particular
sure.
line should balance out pretty close to 100% for the end of the fiscal year.
Oh, we did get funded on that, good.
Do we know, one of my questions is also about the over expenditure on the, administration, materials, supplies and services. I'm curious what that includes and why we would be so far over it. I'm wondering if that's like contracts and so forth. And in some of these, I'm having some challenge sort of determining what would fall into that category versus the SRC, for instance.
Sure.
Do you have any ideas?
I do have some ideas, but I think the best way to get maybe yours and Kyle's questions answered is to find time for us to meet either individually or with Chris, and he can share how those, I don't want to say allocations, but how he determines which budget line those expenses go into, and that might provide some clarity for you. Yeah, if it's administration or if it's SRC.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I would like to
He
do that
can
too.
even pull reports for the whole year and show which expenses and what they were for, and maybe make some general observations that can help fill in some gaps for you.
Okay. I think some of it is, again, I would like us to get ahead and do some grant writing, and I think we can still, even though we've had the expenditure, perhaps get a talk Thunder into helping cover some of those costs.
Yeah.
So that they bail us out of the fact that we're digging in, to funds that we don't have, to try to cover some of that stuff. You know, I think we have to get out of a mode where we're paying for a piece of equipment with a grant opportunity and cover some of the other larger costs, including the consultants, because that's just added up, I know, to have and we've needed the consultants to get us, hopefully get us
Is
to.
the admin, material supplies and services, that's our contracts?
Well, I don't know, I'm not sure which category we choose to put them into.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you two meet, will you come back to the board and give us a report?
Sure.
Because I'm curious if we know the occupancy, would that be happening as early as August?
Is it okay if I answer that question as we get to old business?
Okay.
Or does it,
No, I'm just looking at money.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm thankful that we're at 85% actual versus 91% through the month. So we're still under, even though some categories are over, some are under, you know, it all balances out.
Yeah, they kept expenses closer to the underage of revenues that we're expecting.
Yeah, so long as
Yeah.
the revenue comes in to support those expenses, we're good.
I make a motion to approve the financial report from May 31st,
All in favor, Catherine?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Celeste?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, motion carries. Okay, old business. Strategic plan. Or you wanted to start with SRC?
No, we can start with that. I'm actually, we printed off an updated, and Celeste has done, again, some great work with updating this document, and I think she's prepared to share something. And Celeste, if you want, we can use this screen, or if you want to walk us through it, I've got copies for everybody, but it's up to you however you want to do it, if there's a way I can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go over the whole document in detail, but I do wanna provide some highlights in the document. So I did a cover sheet here just
Great.
because
Thank you.
I thought it was important for us as a team to sort of recognize this journey that we've been on to create a strategic plan, where we started. And I picked some select milestones. I don't know if I'm exactly right on the dates. I used email and stuff to try to figure out or approximate which dates, things that we had completed. So that's what this cover page is. I took the liberty of then also, based on our conversation during the workshop, to draft out a timeline to get us over the finish line, to finish this strategic plan journey. So that's what this top page is. I am delivering to you. I had originally thought I'd given myself till the 26th to get you a third draft of this strategic plan. So I'm delivering it to you today, so 3 days early, so celebrate that. So you'll see that you all will, that we're providing this to you. I am hoping, I didn't put a deadline for this, but I would like to get feedback back on this draft within the next 10 days. I'm happy to get on the phone with any of you if you'd like, or you can mark up the copy and deliver it down to the pool and I can come pick it up, or I can give you a link to the online version if you prefer to comment online. However you want to get me edited, I'm happy to take it. Okay. The next piece then is to do a formatted version, because I think things read differently when you get it into a formatted version. So I would do a formatted version in advance of being able to issue a public comment draft on 7/28, so the 28th of July. And that would then be issued to the public, because I think we owe it to the public, particularly since there's been some time since we had all of our roundtable discussions and the survey and so forth, and provide the public with a period to respond to us and provide any questions or comments or concerns. And I'm hoping that fellow board members will help take some of those public comments, because I'm sure if we get questions or comments, I think we're going to want to all be in a position to be able to answer those. We would close that public comment, incorporate any changes or edits or clarifications that we need to make, and then on the 20th, release what would be the proposed final to the board, with hopefully board review and adoption at this 8/25 board meeting. So that's the proposed timeline. And shortly after that, publish it, whatever that we decide that we could put a date on that. So that's the proposed
Good.
timeline.
You're really crack the whip on us.
I am. We want to get it done.
Oh, I know.
Get it done. What I will tell you in this newest draft, this is fairly complete at this point. I think it's fairly complete at this point. So, so encourage you. It has, again, sort of the format of it is that the front matter is sort of summaries of the path we took with all the community engagements, the environmental scans and so forth that we did with mostly with our past contractors. And then starting on page 20, we have the Let's Spark Play plan, so that outlines our 5 areas, priority areas: serve, place, aware, resilience, and culture, and then the 21 goals associated with each of those areas. Again, reminder that this is a 10-year plan, so we're not going to get 21 goals done in year 1, but we're going to chip away at them each year through an implementation plan. That's outlined starting on page 28. So the implementation plan is not contained in here. This is the vision piece. The implementation plan would come in the form of sort of our annual work with Skylar. I do reference the capital improvement and facility roadmap, otherwise known as the master plan. So reference that, but that is to come and will dovetail into this plan. And then also a commitment to measure and monitor our progress. There are a couple appendices, which are not printed here, but they're mostly excerpts from the original master plan. So that includes the community survey results and all of that demographics, community information. That was too long and made the document really weighed down previously, so now it's just in an appendix. Probably wouldn't be published with this, but would be available online or something like that.
So I went and got another one of these.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this executive summary that starts with, you know, play and some poetry is really quite effective. I think we still need to actually publish our mission statement.
That's great.
And our mission statement.
Mark it down. Yep, that's
It
exactly.
was on the previous version.
Yep.
I think it is in about the district. There is the mission and vision in the about the district. It's right here.
I mean, I think.
It's not on the front page, it's not in the executive summary, it's in the about the district.
Seems like it was paraphrased, but
No, keep
I could be
going.
wrong.
Keep going.
Maybe this one's new.
Page 7.
And it might be, so just mark it up, Sue, that's exactly what you do, just mark it up, if it's not exactly right.
So this is kind of a general statement for the board. There are, in this document, strategic decisions. I mean, we are announcing what we're going to do, and I just request the board read that stuff and look at it and make sure that that's what we want to do as a board. And just one example, on the top of page 22, it says SEPRD will expand and strengthen programs that meet demonstrated community demand. That's a strategic statement, and there are others in here that I actually support that statement, but I think when we approve this strategic plan, we are going to be making those statements publicly, and I would just want to make sure the board concurs.
Yeah, they're not political promises,
Right.
concrete.
And they should drive our actions
And
moving forward.
they will drive our actions. That's why it's important that we
These
understand.
statements are not what's printed, so they just need to match.
Well, somewhere the board adopted a vision statement.
Well, no, it's right here.
No, but that's a marketing document. I'm
It
just
just
saying
needs to
that
match.
in the annals of the board's history, they adopted a vision statement.
Yeah, I don't know, I probably got these off the old document.
Yeah, wherever that is, we'll
Right there.
just find it and put that in.
What Kyle should prove, that might be marketing, not necessarily what's about.
Right, I'm
Well, this
just,
is what I've read, this is not correct.
Why would you?
They're just different, it's different in my draft versus what Sue's looking at here. I would guess that this is probably correct. This is, I'm not sure where this, I can't remember, this probably came off the.
The
I
only
would
way
expect
to-
this is not correct.
the only way to determine what's correct is to go back to the minutes and see what the board adopted as the vision statement.
That was,
For your
yeah.
time.
That's my time.
I expect it would be
Well,
what we
then-
published.
Well, then, we'll adopt a vision statement when we adopt the strategic plan, whatever version you want.
It can always be changed.
Right. Pick the one you want, and we'll adopt that when we adopt the strategic plan.
The intention here was not to revise it, it's just, it probably got picked up from what the contractors did before.
Right.
And I probably just
Which-
copied it over,
which
so I
may
just
not
need
be
to
accurate.
revise, yeah. So just
Okay.
mark it up, yeah.
Again, I'm not one to change the vision and mission statement, because I think that's the bedrock of who we are. And so it needs to be rock solid
Okay?
and not changeable. Unless everyone says, oh my gosh, we've made a mistake.
I don't know what the vision statement that was previously made by the board.
We can do some comparison. I think this is an easily solvable problem.
We'll figure it out.
This will work out.
What do you need from the board tonight?
Nothing from the board tonight, but this is, we're officially distributing it to the board here so that folks know that there is now a clock ticking to get, to actually review it. Because I agree with you, I think the board, we've spent a lot of time getting to this place, to actually having the 21 goals that we're establishing, and so making sure that we all know them and understand them and can answer the public questions, should we get them, and that we feel good about them.
Right, and like I said, we're making some strategic statements in here that I think that people agree on. Okay, any questions from the board? Any questions for Celeste? All right, let's move on.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
It's a lot of work.
SRC,
Yeah, a few updates here. So we're still moving as swiftly as we can with the occupancy process. Everyone knows we're on a bit of we've established a timeline, speaking of timelines, with the city of Seaside to have our permitting in and reviewed by September 1st. And that is going well so far. Again, I'm really grateful for the new project manager consultant architect that we're working with from Scott Edwards Architecture. Jason is his name, and he was in the building about a week and a half ago with two engineers from Interface, and they were able to take a look at all of the crawl spaces and find out all sorts of fun information. Essentially, they're gathering intelligence to help inform them as they build the plan, and that's what we'll be permitted for, to update or make the necessary improvements to the HVAC system so that it will meet current building code. A couple of things I want to share, and I'm just going to quote from a document here. Interface is actively working on analysis of the current building systems and improvements that will need to be made. Additionally, the district is hiring an HVAC contractor, local contractor, that we've already worked with a lot on the building and building improvements, to do some additional exploratory investigations in the building. And of chief concern is that there's some areas where the HVAC system isn't performing at the standard that it should be, given the age of it. And I'm not talking about the old part of the building, I'm talking about the newer part of the building. So we need this contractor to assess, okay, are there, I think they're called dampeners,
baffles.
or baffles, if the ducting is not connected properly, or if it's partially blocked. So all those things can significantly change the amount of airflow in a space, and airflow is what we need to be measured really precisely, because that will help determine how many improvements, how many mechanical system improvements are needed to get to code. If it's possible that it's just some ducting that needs to be improved, that's obviously a lot less expensive than replacing a mechanical system or changing the mechanical system's routing of air.
So this is new work that was done since our purchase, right? That is not operating as it should?
Say that again, sorry.
Is the systems that you're talking about, is this newly installed stuff, newly installed system? Or this was installed prior?
Any systems.
But it's the new part of the building, but it's not anything
It's all the parts of the building.
Okay.
The old part of the building is a different concern, like there's no ventilation.
Yeah,
Like there's heat and there's windows.
but the things you're talking about are not failures of systems that we installed.
Correct. We
They're
haven't installed,
previously.
yeah, we haven't installed any systems.
Okay.
And to be honest, it's possible the system may not have been functioning for some time when it was a school, or it's possible that at some point the system fell in disrepair and nobody noticed it. When you are trying to meet code, this is not something that the building official is going to come measure every 6 months or every year to make sure that the system is working properly. So when we took ownership, we assumed the liability, the risk of meeting the current structural code. And that's what we're striving really hard to do, and that's taking a lot of resources and commitment. And
Well, we saw a lot of that when we did our due diligence and had the, estimates made on the work, and it was significant.
Those baffles, they fail over time, they get loose and close. And so ultimately, if we're lucky, we could get by with just balancing the air delivery system and not having to replace any major equipment.
Correct. The goal is to, once we have the contractor assess some of those maybe smaller improvements that can be made, is to run another testing and balancing report on those spaces We did one a couple months ago, as you all probably remember. And hopefully that report will demonstrate that the current operating system, at least in parts of the building, is operating at code or complies with the code. And that'd be great. That means that we don't have to make substantial investments in the mechanical system for those parts of the building. For instance, it's kind of crazy, the hallway that borders where the programs classrooms are, the hallway is overperforming in terms of ventilation, but the classrooms are underperforming.
It is about that.
And so we think there's some potentially easier solutions to be made.
What's a baffle?
They're a dampener in the pipe that closes it off or opens it up.
Oh, like a lever. Yeah.
It's like
Like a blind?
like a butterfly valve. You know, it just
Yes, yeah.
closes off. And I don't know if they're automatic here or if they're just set permanently.
Well, sometimes they regulate intake air,
Right.
depending on what temperature you're getting at. You know, if you want to heat up the building, if the
Close
outside air
the
is colder,
valve.
you close that
Yeah.
intake air, and you recirculate your interior, but, it can work to help cool, to bring in the outside air.
And we've had,
Saves
in
refrigeration.
a previous life, we had problems balancing big buildings, and it took a while, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than having to replace mechanical stuff, because you still have to balance the airflow when you do that, so I'm hoping we'll get off easy.
Yeah. I'll say anecdotally, it is interesting, this is, I don't know, we've probably had dozens, maybe more, engineers and architects in the building, and some of you have been along for those experiences. They always say things that are quite astounding to me, like, oh, I've never seen anything like that before. I wonder why they did that. Well, that's really unusual. And
This is rare and unique.
So it's funny because we all think that when we're in the space, and I think, but to hear somebody that's a trained, mechanical engineer.
Expert.
Yeah, so I went up into the crawl space above the west-facing classrooms, and was with the engineer, the interface engineer for a few minutes, and the sounds and the noises he was making were quite entertaining. But there's a lot of good news to be had. For instance, in that space along the west corridor of classrooms, we were concerned that there was not enough room in the crawl space to install ventilation, and that would have been a much more costly project. But there's actually quite a bit of room up there to install systems and ductwork that would be needed. So there's good news. I think the investment that we're making is substantial, and I recognize that. And going back to our conversation about the budget, but I think it's what we are being asked to do. That part of it is out of our control. What we can do, I think, is do a better job of leveraging the information that we have and telling a really compelling story and garnering community support from funders and also just general community. I think I'm really optimistic for the next couple of months to hopefully pan out well and us to get that temporary certificate of occupancy in September.
Well, if you could loop Celeste in on your
She's
stuff, because she's gonna need to know where the grant opportunities are.
Luckily, we've already
Yeah.
worked on tightening that loop, and Darren and Celeste meet pretty regularly or share grant ideas and funding, and I think we need to probably do a better job of being more visionary and queuing some more Celeste feedback and less project focused. That's a hard transition, I think, for us to do grants in that way, but I think that's something that is great feedback for us to work on.
Well, that classroom that we had the meeting in where Sid was, over there, there's a bad baffle in the ceiling over the class. You can hear it.
So
You can hear it rattling in the stovepipe that they've got there. So there are some loose dampeners, I guess. I hope that's the solution.
One thing we did, I'll share another quick anecdote. There was two I think classrooms that were originally used for home ec, type, curriculum. On the west hallway, they're down, towards like where the robotics club has their home base, so, the northwest corner of the building. And, if you look up, it's like if you crawl kind of under this cabinet and look up where we think the stove, like the home ec stoves used to be, there's a direct vent. You can actually see sunlight all the way up, and there's one of those,
Revolving
fans to ventilate the cooking classes that,
That's all your heat.
yeah.
But there should be a butterfly valve
There should
in
be
that too.
probably a few things, and it's kind of astonishing we don't have more water damage in that spot, but I think, again, that was a funny moment when the engineers discovered that. They thought, that's really unique, so anyways,
Anything else?
thanks for that.
Any more questions for Skylar? Contract review, Northwest Senior Services.
You missed this.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, the SDC
Oh.
update is gonna be short.
Okay.
I'm working with the consultants. What I would like to do is to settle on a workshop date. We had some really great questions that were posed by board and our partners at the city. And if we're gonna move forward with SDCs, some of those questions need to be answered. I would suggest to the board, if we could pick a date, potentially not in July, but in August or September. I know that's a little ways out, but we have a lot of irons in the fire right now, and a lot of things that are occupying a fair amount of time. So if we can pick a date, potentially in August or September, to have a workshop to demonstrate, I guess, get some clarity on some of the questions that we have. And I think during this time, over the next month or so, we can fortify the relationship with the city and with our consultants to make sure that our data that we're presenting is good, that it's consistent with the board, what the board wants. I think there may be some adjustments to the project list that was originally proposed, so that is going to modify the data. But we've had a bunch of conversations with the consultants, and we're ready, I think, to move forward on that part, get some answers. But what I'd like to do is sort of give me a clock, a timeline to know when this workshop, when we're going to share this information, or when I'm going to share this information back to the board to try to build some consensus again to get this project moving.
So can I ask, so for the workshop, is the idea there that we are meeting solely with the city to flesh out what our questions are? Are we bringing consultants into that workshop?
I think we could. I think, honestly, my intention, or I guess my design of that would be to have a lot of those, to have done most of the legwork with the city beforehand and ensure that they are on board with whatever we're going to be proposing.
Okay.
Honestly think we're not that far away from them, but they had some concerns about some of the similar stuff that you had shared. And I think we could invite the consultant at that point, but I think we'll have to start this process over in a public way, in the way that the ORS requires us to. So I have to have another public presentation by then and a hearing, a public hearing, if we're going to impose SDCs. So I think the workshop is to make sure that the board's questions are answered, that everyone feels heard, and that the staff have done a good job of answering those questions adequately.
I move we have that meeting in August.
Well,
Then we can come to the board in September.
Well,
Yeah.
I would like to point out that volleyball, 5 days, August 5th through 9th, and Hood to Coast is the 28th and the 29th of August. So we need to work around the massive influx of people that are coming.
How about the week of the 10th of August?
Sorry, just pulling up the calendar as well.
I'm open to almost any days. I don't think that day would be a problem for me.
Like the 11th?
And Skylar, I'm in the hopes to make sure that when we come to the workshop, maybe being a little bit closer, like, because I know I asked a lot of questions, but I don't know that all the questions are compiled in a location. And like, I'm not even clear on what, when you say all the questions, that we're addressing all the questions, I'm not sure what those even are.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering if there's a process that could be, or I'm happy to come in and have that separately. I think it would be better to.
Maybe, we can use, like, the workflow that you've created with, like, the strategic plan to create a document that's visible online.
Yeah,
And
that would be great.
share access to it, and, for those that aren't maybe interested in that platform, I can get you the access in a different way. Print some of those out, but yeah, I'll codify or consolidate, I guess, some of the questions that you had and the questions that we got from the city on the day of the public hearing.
That would be great. Awesome.
Well, and on this list that you wrote, 811 is, public comment closes.
Oh, but that's for the strategic.
Yeah, but, I mean, so we'll be busy with that,
Oh,
and.
yeah, I don't think this will take much, because public comment will close, and then it'll come to me, I think. And then I'll have to process them, and so it'll probably be the couple weeks after that you'll get the next. You'll be busy.
Could we, look at the date of 8/11, it's a Tuesday, we could meet at our normal time, or meet maybe a little earlier that day. I don't know if we have the same time constraints in the summer, Catherine, if you do.
I'll go back to work the 10th.
You go back to work the 10th? So, can we make this the week of the 2nd? We can't really ask Catherine to take a day off work.
No. I mean,
It was,
It starts the 5th,
I can meet at
5th through the 9th.
4:30.
August or July? August.
So regular, like a regular board meeting.
Yeah.
or whatever.
So if you wanted to do August 4th,
My preference would not to do that, because I think I'm actually gone most of those days, the last week of my break.
So the 11th at
11th.
5 o'clock or something?
Yeah.
When?
28th and 29th.
Thank you.
And just FYI, in case you have children in your life or know children, remind them that school is starting before Labor Day this year.
Really?
First time ever.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
How's that?
And
What's the proposed date at this point?
August 11th at 5 p.m.
Very good.
August 11th, we're gonna go for.
Sounds good, thank you.
5 p.m.?
Yep.
So we went to the 11th.
Yeah.
Yep. How many, are there any more questions for Skylar about? I'm gonna have to set them for a time.
It was interesting in the minutes that we approved, it said there was discussion about SRC, and I just know we moved it because there were serious concerns.
There was discussion, it was brief, but it was pointed.
That was it.
I mean, it was,
The numbers kind of took me by surprise.
What time will our meeting be on the 11th?
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Thank you on that.
And then, new business?
Yes, we have, the contract from Northwest Senior and Disability Services for, the meal site agreement for this upcoming fiscal year. I will say that the contract looks very, very similar to previous years, however, we have bargained, I guess, with, Northwest Senior Disability Services to, provide an increase, in the total amount of compensation awarded as part of the contract, and they've agreed to those terms that we asked for, so, besides that, there's nothing less or something different from previous years. I think, there has been a lot of questions, about this service, and not questions like this isn't a benefit, because I think we all recognize the benefit of it, but questions about its place, physical place, and also its place within the district, not necessarily within the community, and I think those are great questions. I personally feel like we're not quite ready at a point to change, the way that this program is structured right now, but there may be an opportunity in the future for us to, revisit if this program is best served with the district, or if it's not. I think for me, I feel very strongly that this is a very, very important program that needs to be offered in our community. And I see the impact that it has on, many of our seniors. In my time at the Bob Chisholm, when I come over to volunteer or just, stop by, I think it's impossible to not see the impact that the social time as well as the nutritional program is really crucial for this population. I do see perhaps that, maybe there's another community partner that might be willing to offer this, but I think for now, we're happy to make sure that it runs great. We have a great, nutrition coordinator in Chris. He has done terrific work in organizing, host of volunteers to help, get the meals out, and we're serving, 20,000 meals plus now every year, which is amazing.
Just anecdotally, when I grew up, I was next to one community center, which was on the old school, turned into a community center, run by Portland Parks, which is what I envisioned this space to eventually be. And they had Meals on Wheels run out of that community center for, I believe it's still there.
It's still there, and
Yeah.
it's going great guns.
So I think there's definitely something to be said for the meal program being run out of the community center, and I think the value to our community is met.
Can we, when they come in here for meals, can we leverage their presence by offering additional services? Can we push
Yeah, I think that's.
whatever they need? I don't know what their needs are, but
Sure.
it seems like if we have them captured, we ought to provide whatever services we can.
I think, I remember, wasn't there some like a partnership with tax preparer or something?
Yeah, so we moved the tax preparer over actually to space in the SRC because, this space wasn't, available enough to meet the demand of seniors that needed, the tax prep help. But there's a pretty robust, set of programs and opportunities here in the Bob Chisholm Community Center that are designed for this population, and there is a lot of crossover, and we've even tried over the last year or two, especially Chris and, Betty, who works in the office, have done a great job of programming things either on the front or the back end of the meal. So for instance, last week they had a special Father's Day lunch on Wednesday, and they had a karaoke hour or two after lunch, and, I didn't make it to karaoke because that was the first day of the farmer's market, and there was a lot going on. But from what I heard, they actually had to cut people off because karaoke had gone so long that they had to get the building ready for, something else that was happening. So there's bingo, there's movies, there's games, there's, some fitness classes that still occur here. There's a lot of really amazing things that are happening, and, really, I think the relationship between the district and the meals program is really important to that.
Are we eventually going to move that to the SRC?
We've talked a little bit about that. I think that's a question that some of the other board members have asked, and I think that's a possibility. However, I think, the cafeteria at the SRC is used very heavily, especially in the summer. But throughout the year by our preschool and infant toddler class, they have lunch there, and then in the summer, all of our summer camp kids are having free lunch by the school district in that space.
Does the school district pay for that space?
The, federal program.
Federal contract?
Yeah.
Are
So
we
they
paying-
don't pay us, but
It's open to everybody.
it's open to everybody, and the benefit for us is that all of our summer camp kids and preschool kids have a free lunch that we don't have to provide. And we don't have to transport them to Pacific Ridge Elementary or to one of the other.
And that's the program that continues, the program that I'm involved with, Food for Kids, all, year long through, one of our local churches. It moves over here to SRC for the summer. It's just really appreciated.
Well, I support the program, but I just think we need to be careful about giving things away, even if they're really good things.
Sure.
At the expense of, summers or whatever,
Yes.
We gotta
So,
pay for
we
that.
don't operate the program. The school district staff comes down and they
Oh,
operate the
okay.
program out of the kitchen.
So we just offer the real estate.
Essentially, yeah. But it's a very nice benefit to us to have to, ensure that the kids in our lunch program are getting that lunch and that we wouldn't have to transport them somewhere. I think there was a
Or by
conversion.
a month.
Yeah.
Well, and then another thing that we've done here is, because I've been able to gratefully attend, they've done some, programs where they've brought in a pharmacist, they've brought in physical and occupational therapy, and you're talking to people, you know, that are in that age range, and you promote, all these formations of safety.
Yeah, you could do lectures, you could do all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. I think it's awesome that we have these people here. I have a couple of questions about your contract itself. On number 3, on page 2, it says that we get $100 a month for food delivery. How much are we paying our drivers for mileage every month?
So we don't pay them, that's part of what they are volunteering, is their mileage.
Yeah, they get their mileage reimbursed, and we're being paid $100 each month to reimburse that mileage, right?
So we don't reimburse them, Northwest Senior reimburses them. This is only for Chris's mileage.
Oh, this is Chris's mileage. Oh, okay.
If Chris was in a position where he had to drive.
Go pick up some food or something or
Well,
whatever.
occasionally he'll have to drive a route to.
Oh, okay.
Are they not providing a car anymore?
They're not providing a car anymore. Yeah, the organization moved away from that a few years
Are they
ago.
providing insurance for Mr. Duffy?
I don't know.
I
That's a
mean,
great
risk
question.
management, if he's driving his car on their business, what's the risk on that?
Then that means we have to be listed as an additional insured on the insurance.
Might mean that, I just wondering.
Or he takes the pickup truck if he has to pick something up. And my question was gonna be, well, what happens if we don't use the $100 as a carryover for the next month or whatever? But if it's just Chris, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the second, and this is a burr under my saddle all the time. Number 12.
Yeah.
We sign a contract saying that we have to comply with the laws. I mean, if we didn't sign the contract, we'd still have to comply with the laws, right? I mean, why would we agree to follow the law? And the second question is, why isn't Northwest Senior Services agreeing to follow the law? But that's one thing. But really, what happens if the federal government and the state government's laws conflict? How do we do that? Because right now, there's a lot of federal issues that are conflicting with state laws. So, I'm just not sure what we're agreeing to here.
Just for number 12?
Yeah.
Or for others?
Well, I don't think we should ever have to sign a contract that says we should follow the law. I think we should follow the law anyway.
Kind of implied.
Yeah. But if there's conflict in the laws between the federal government and the state government, I don't see that being a big deal on this agreement. But
Well, they're talking about, health code and food handling practices.
I think so, but maybe it's hiring and firing or promoting or something like that, where the federal government is clearly in conflict with the state. Anyway, it's not enough to recommend a change. It's
I don't have
just
a
an
great
odd
answer
thing.
for that.
I just had one question that I didn't understand a little. If you go to conflicts of interest, which is right below it, and you go to 1, 2, 3, 4, line 4, Older Americans Act and 45 CFR, what in the heck does that mean? Those two little things.
CFR is the Code of Federal Regulations.
No, the symbol, it's like a dollar sign,
Oh, where are you again, Sue?
4th line down.
What page?
These symbols, 3, I just didn't know what that meant. Older Americans Act and 45 CFR something, 1321.47.
That's federal law, it's federal money that comes to us that pays.
So that's the dollar
So
sign?
that's, CFR is the Code of Federal
She's
Regulations.
asking what the symbols after.
The symbols
are.
mean section.
Section,
Sections, in this case, there's 2 of them.
okay. That, Thank you.
Northwest Senior and Disability Services Site Management Agreement, is there a motion?
A motion to approve the, site management agreement with Northwest Senior and Disability Services.
And I'll second.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote, Catherine?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Celeste?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay.
Oh, there was one question I had, and we've already approved it, but in the attachment, it says SEPRD on the page 6, about very last line, SEPRD employee deposit records are monitored? I didn't know what that meant.
So, at the mill site,
You take money, yes.
There's a donation box
There's
or
a donation
something.
box, yeah, and so I think part of Chris's responsibilities, and he's had training on this, is to, I'm sure there's a protocol for what he does with the funds,
They put them in Northwest Senior Services account,
Yeah.
deposits them.
Yeah,
But why would an employee be monitored? Why would an employee's deposits be monitored?
I think it's saying that they're monitored by Northwest Seniors.
So this particular employee is monitored, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
or the deposit records, like the transactions are monitored. Because I actually don't know if Chris might just bring them to other Chris, and call us to the finance manager, and maybe Chris is the one that deposits them. You know, wherever
Mhm.
Northwest Seniors.
wherever that account is, right? Okay. Auditing contract.
Okay, so I got the auditing contract, too late to be included in the packet. And also, I didn't know necessarily, but I am happy to share some details about the agreement. The annual, or the first year fee is $23,500, which is below what we budgeted and similar or in line with what we paid our previous auditor, Grant Thompson. I'm not sure exactly how to proceed with this because it falls below the purchasing threshold that I have to sign the agreement, but I do want to bring it to the board for visibility, and I have some documents that I can share with you electronically. They just got to me a little bit too late to be included in this. However, I recognize the need maybe to have this a little more firmed up by the start of the new fiscal year, and perhaps, I think waiting until the July meeting is possible, but it's not, it's certainly not, what our new auditor kind of wants to. He'd like to start proceeding pretty quick in the next week or so with some of the audit stuff. So I don't know how the board feels about it. I'm happy to make it as transparent as possible. From my perception, from my interactions with Kenny, the auditor, they've been great. He's fully responsive, supportive. His references checked out amazingly, so we're ready to proceed. And so the board, I think, has some options. They could ask for full visibility of this at an upcoming meeting. They could designate someone to look over the document and give them some authority to, not necessarily sign, but give that person the authority to make the final decision, or they could just authorize staff to move forward with the contract agreement.
Thoughts?
We will already offer it, to move forward.
Great, if that's the way that you feel.
I feel that way too, but I would like to see the agreement.
Okay. So I will share what we have, and if it's okay, I think a motion to just ratify that direction for staff would be appreciated.
Is there a motion to authorize Skylar to pursue an agreement with the auditing firm?
I'll vote.
Is there a second?
And I'll second. What's the name of this firm?
Clear Trails.
Trails.
Clear
CPA.
Trails. Okay, I knew it was something with a trail.
Interesting. Okay, so, roll call vote. Catherine?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Celeste?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye, but I would like to see a copy of the
Okay,
contract.
thank you.
Pool rules update.
Well, we had one public commenter that already spilled the beans. Just kidding, it's great. So,
I already knew.
Well, yeah, I think, if you're following news and things like that, it's, just the timing of things. I mean, I feel, I don't know if it's ironic that we waited. I mean, the rules were implemented in February, and we were waiting because there was discussion in the ORPA aquatic section that there was a possibility that the rules might be revised. We waited, and we got to the point where we were concerned that we were going to get a visit from OHA or Clatsop County, and they were going to say, hey, why don't you have these rules posted? Why aren't you enforcing some of these new things? Because that was a possible course of action that had been suggested. So we had meetings about what the signs would look like, what dimensions the signs would be. We found a vendor to order the signs. And we were like, had the signs in the shopping cart, and then, you know, a couple weeks ago on a Sunday, we get a notice that they're going back to the community input, stakeholder information gathering, and probably going to revise or maybe not implement these rules at all. From our perspective, there was going to be some operational changes that we would have to make, but we were going to do our best to implement those with a lot of grace and a lot of understanding, and try to find some ways to not have these rules impact our open swim participation or impact having kids be in the pool. That was the biggest potential change. Because we have great lifeguards and things like that, and the supervision level is high, I don't think the changes impacted us as much as some other pool operators. But I just did want to provide an update. You won't see new signs in the pool for now, because we'll probably wait to see if OHA is going to come back out with some revisions.
It showed up in the news.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think any time that a government agency looks silly, I think it's probably newsworthy for maybe the right or the wrong reasons. I don't know.
The article I saw, I think, came out kind of right before summer, and it was addressing, you know, like, hey, you don't have to get into the pool with your kids.
yeah, they were talking about the Portland pools opening,
Yeah.
and the rules have changed. You don't have to get
Yeah.
a pool.
And you can jump off a bridge at High Rocks, that's just fine, but you can't go into a swimming pool without an adult present.
So anyway, so we saved a few $100s on the signage, and didn't have to go through the challenge of implementing some of these rules that seemed like, yeah, they were going to be a little bit difficult at some point down the road for us. So happy about that.
So I thought the pool rules was going to discuss the Saturday changes.
No,
I'm sure that's why Mary's here, at least one of the reasons why Mary's.
yeah, so I have an item in my report for that Saturday change.
Okay, so just keep going then.
Sure.
Anything else on the pool rules?
No, and
Swim
I
team?
didn't know that Bob was going to be able to be here, so he had sent me, or we've been in regular communication, but wanted to just provide that update similar to what he shared. We have a good group of swimmers. It's a smaller group than maybe we were hoping for, but 10 swimmers or so is, I think, a really good start, and we're going to be able to offer those folks an opportunity to compete at a meet in, I always get Newport and Lincoln City's pool mixed up, but Newport pool in August, and maybe some opportunities to compete past that point. It's been an interesting process, as Bob said, and but we're trying to do our best to work together and create more opportunities for time in the pool, for competition, for recreation. So I think if try to remind our staff if we can stay focused on that, then it's a good thing that we're doing.
So I've got a couple of questions about the swim team. There was some concern in the past that the shallow end of the pool wasn't deep enough for flip turns. And is that still a concern?
I have to say, I have consistently, I literally wrote the letter today. I'm going to show up at your front door. You do not respond to emails as I was told. So I wrote an email, I wrote 2 emails. They had their board meeting on June 3rd. This is USA Swimming. And in the past, USA Swimming was receptive to, when I was a stroke and turn judge And a starter, you could just walk in and there were people to talk to. I have talked to somebody, and he said, write it down and we will review it. And so I called a couple weeks ago, and I get, the voicemail is full, so I text them, and so I texted again, do I need to show up at your front door because you're not responding? I am simply asking a question, and I would like your input because we're moving forward, and I would really like you to answer. And that's what I have. So
Well, their front door's in Colorado Springs.
it's in West Lynn. I don't know
Well,
where
is
yet.
USA
but-
Swimming in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, you could go there.
You
I'll
get
show
some
up in
attention if you
Colorado.
go there. So 10 swimmers is not a lot of swimmers. Because, you know,
I also don't know that it was, like Bob said, I don't think it was advertised super well.
Well, that's what he said.
well, I think, you know, if you take those 10 swimmers, half are gonna be boys, half are girls, then some of those are gonna be 5 and under, 8 and under, 10 and under, whatever, so there's only gonna be one or two students in each category, so I think you need to fill the pool, you need, you know, get more kids, help Bob.
What I wrote down was he said in the 5 to 6 years, there are 11 to 14 kids. The high schoolers are still negotiating their jobs. More to come.
Okay.
It's a start.
Hey, I'm way supportive, you know, I'm supportive of this one too, but, first I wanna make sure it's safe for them, and if it's safe, let's go. Executive Director report, Scott Orr.
Sure. So, again, broken record here on the executive director goals, but the goals that the board set for me a little more than a year ago are very redundant for me to repeat at this point, but we continue to work on those things. There's a lot of other things on our list of things to work on, but, I can say that the days have been quite long lately, so we're efforting, a lot of really good things, not just myself, but I'm really thankful for our entire team. These transitions as we move from kind of spring or school year based programming to summer programming are, they're intense, and they take a lot of effort and focus and a lot of attention. So we'll keep working on these. I know that, moving on to item B, I know that there was some discussion about having a larger presentation of information and some data and historical perspectives about Saturday schedule and operational planning, and some questions that were asked. And just to be candid, even though a month seems like a really long time, we just haven't had the opportunity to really present that information fully yet. But I have it earmarked for an agenda item in July, and I think while I did hear some specific questions or some data that was requested about historical perspectives, comparison of hours with other pools, and comparison of hours with the district in previous eras, I am looking for other pieces of data that the board would like to see as part of that. So I'm happy to write down some notes now, or you can email me directly what you're hoping to find, and we'll go on some research, some fact-finding missions, some gathering information, and then share that back to the board. And I think that we're doing it in the hopes of maybe not making operational changes for the rest of the summer, but maybe looking at making changes starting September. We are carefully monitoring, like every open swim, we have some data that's shared with our staffing group, because we're trying to make sure that we're opening the door as wide as possible for those opportunities, not just the Saturday ones, but the Monday through Friday ones. And we have some kind of special marketing and events gathered around Saturday open swims for later in the summer, to try to make sure that if we're going to be open, we want those opportunities to serve as many kids as possible.
I think, one of the things, I'm just thinking about how, like, Nick, I'm interested in not seeing you guys go collect data just for data's sake. Like, I'm interested in why we need to collect data, and particularly how it might align with the things that we're going to lay out in the strategic plan for and that we'll want to monitor over the next 10 years, right? Like, so, like, I think we ought to be able to say how many swimmers we have each year and be able to monitor that and see the growth in that so that we actually have data. I think there's some other ones that are a little bit harder, like the childcare that we provide. Do you count how many hours of childcare, or do you count how many kids, or like what are we counting exactly, right? And that gets a little more complicated. So I'm really interested in helping with that, but I think it should probably align with the strategic plan somehow, as opposed to just going on. I think you can get kind of weighed down by having too many data points if you're trying to collect that don't end up being that useful. So,
But the strategic plan really lays out
yeah.
the outcomes we want, and then the data to support those outcomes.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've already mentioned to Skylar, because I used to be in the pool at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or both on Saturdays when there was an instructor. She became ill and had to resign and move away for her health. But wondering if that 3 to 5, and looking at watch the summer and maybe consider potential alteration of times in September. So, you know, I was interested in getting in the water as often as I can, more than 5 days a week. And that would include, you know, hopefully getting to the pool, because I go to the gym at 8:30, go to the pool at 9 or, you know, 10, and then go drive to Portland and do stuff, rather than wait till the middle of the day and lose the time. And in September, it gets darker earlier. But, you know, the thing I'm looking at is my goal, I thought I would meet it, and I am having trouble getting 10 hours a week in the water. And that is becoming more and more frustrating to me as, you know, one body part of the other is saying, no, not today, you know, you are not going to move as easily as you thought you were. And, you know, I try never to complain, but I'm grateful, I'm so exceedingly grateful for this pool and for the hot tub and for, I never used to say that because I didn't get in the hot tub, but I do now almost every time I'm here, because there's one ache or the other that's showing up as I get a little bit older. And so I'm just excited. I talk to people because I'm at the pool 5 days a week, or try to be. Long and short of it is, there was a family, a couple, pardon me, a couple saying, we're hoping you're going to open on Sunday. And I talked to Skylar about this. Our days off are Wednesdays, I think it's Thursdays and Sundays. So we want to get in the water. I said, well, you know, just be patient. We're working on it. It's not a no, but we are working on it. So there are people out there. There are other people. A gentleman, I asked him to get back to me with some detail. He did talk to Darren. He wants a couples rate, that kind of thing. That I'm not prepared to really talk about because I don't have enough information, but I know people are interested in getting in these pools, you know, in this pool more often, including Sunday. But, you know, I think, unfortunately, in that respect, looking at the data for 3 to 5 o'clock versus changing hours is what we have to do.
I am just ecstatic that in a town of 6,500 or however many people we have a pool. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing that we have a great school system. We got a beautiful new high school. We got a pool for a small community, and look at the field we've got. We have infrastructure that should be really good if we can get people to participate.
Great, thank you.
I'll
I'll open up maybe some communication with the board and give you an opportunity to weigh in a little bit. I appreciate the direction, because I don't want to go on a scavenger hunt either necessarily. I do think the historical perspective is important, and it helps me with some context. But I want to make best use of my time and the board's time too, as we look at operational changes and schedules and things that are different than maybe how we're doing them right now.
As a suggestion, Scott, we might want to do a shared doc also in this
Yeah.
case. It might be a good place to get multiple people input.
Sure.
Is there, on the website, is there a login on the website for employees, for board members, for anybody?
To make updates to the website?
Well, no, does the website provide a portal to communication system, or do we just go through the regular Outlook?
Oh, yeah, there's a link on the website to get to your email, to your district email.
Okay.
I don't know what, is
No,
that what he's asking?
No.
Okay.
So like with the school district, we have the district site, and up in the top corner, there's employee portal, and we click on that, and then we log in, and there's more
You can
stuff.
find all the HR documents
Yeah.
or
So,
whatever.
we have an employee portal. Isaiah's actually worked really hard on that. It used to be, we used to call it the database, but now it's electronic, or it's online, and I'm not gonna say the technical terms, because Isaiah knows them better than me, but yeah, there is a site like that. I don't know if the board has access to it, because it has that's how a lot of, employees manage their time off, or the payroll software, things like that. That's
Scheduling something.
yeah, isn't relevant for the board, but we could create some options for you if you want to do that. Right now, I'll be honest, I think one of the challenges that this board has is that there's at least 2 or maybe 3 different preferred ways of communication, and not everybody is checking their email or accessing things electronically, and it does provide a little bit of a challenge at times for communication. Some of you are like, I email you your district email and you get right back to me. Some of you, I know you're not checking your district email.
Guilty.
And it's okay. It's just, I think maybe it might be something that the board might want to consider, because in terms of efficiency, it's challenging at times for staff to figure out the best way and what every person needs. And I say that with respect and appreciation for your time, because I know you're volunteers.
Because I asked for paper.
Well, and to me, I guess, there's 2 things. If there's something that's urgent,
Mhm.
text me.
Yeah.
Because I always have my phone, nearby.
Sure.
If it's something that can wait for a few days, go over the minutes and see if there's any moves, adds, or changes to the minutes, they can wait a few days, then just send it to my email. Because I don't check it every day, but I'll check it every couple of 3 days. So if it's not urgent, then send it to my email. If it's more urgent, then just text me and tell me to check my email.
Sure. Yeah, not my place to tell you how engaged or not engaged to be. I just say that sometimes the different levels of communication and the intensity by which I communicate with you is different, so that's okay. Speaking of that, in July, we have our board meeting on the 28th, regular meeting, and typically what we do at the July meeting is review the board officers, and not that I see any reason for changes amongst the board officer positions, but it's y'all's opportunity to discuss that. And then
I'm not taking it back.
the other thing that is usually a discussion point at that meeting is if there's going to be any changes to the meeting schedule for the upcoming year. Just some context, we've always met at 5:15 p.m. since I've been with the district, and I think well before my time. The board meetings used to be on the 3rd Tuesday. We moved them to the 4th Tuesday, probably 3 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, that was back when third was a problem.
Well, it
It
was
was,
because of the school
School
district.
district, yeah, we were on the same night as the school district. So if the board is feeling compelled to change the meeting time, you're within your rights to meet earlier, later, a different time of the week. That's up to you, or we can keep going, but at a minimum, we'll have the dates for that 4th Tuesday, and then we can kind of plan out if we want to have, I think that 4th Tuesday would be 2 days before Thanksgiving, for example, so we want to move the November meeting, and I'm not sure where it lines up with the Christmas holiday, but we may want to play with that a little bit. So if you can be prepared for that discussion and letting you know that it'll be part of your agenda.
I think we should have cake to celebrate Kyle's first year.
I love that. Kyle, what kind of cake do you like?
Cake, to celebrate my first anniversary.
Yes.
I don't need cake. I would prefer that money go to making things better for
Okay.
the
Well,
community.
very novel of you. Maybe we'll get some ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, something just really modest.
I was hoping you wouldn't say
Did
carrot
they
cake.
celebrate your first
Well,
year?
you're missing out on, culinary. He's got a culinary connection to make fancy cakes.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Well, knock yourself out, Tyler.
It's not me.
I mean, did they do
I mean, I
that
might
to you?
get knocked out
No.
if I ask.
That's like,
Isn't your wife that's a cake maker?
She's our culinary teacher.
she's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's a trained pastry chef. She's quite talented.
Oh, my God.
I paid her to make cupcakes for my children's birthday.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's
Well, and
going on the list.
You know, at the church, after the turkey trot, she's in the kitchen creating. It's really marvelous.
Oh, I gotta check that out. Okay,
Yeah, just a couple other things under events. We have July and August board meetings set. Looks like we set a workshop for earlier in August, so that's great. And then, if you didn't know or hadn't heard somehow, shame on you, I'm just kidding. Last Wednesday was the first farmer's market of the season. We had great weather, over 50 vendors, live music, food. It felt, like a really great, first run at the market. Last year, we had rain for almost all of our markets in June and even early July, so it was nice to not have some rain. I think tomorrow's forecast is gonna be
Cloud.
okay enough, and we're missing the rain that might be coming this weekend. But encourage you to come check it out. We have live music. We even have an amateur musician or performer that comes before the paid gig to sort of warm up the crowd, and that's a new thing this year. Some new booths, so appreciate Zoe and Kathleen and the entire farmers market team, as well as our whole staff. We all pitch in and try to come out and set up at every market day at 9 a.m. and then break down at 6 p.m. as well, so it creates a lot of opportunities for fun and engagement.
what time does it officially open?
So the food court opens at noon. The vendors are told 1 p.m., but a lot of them are prepared to sell before then, like the non-food court vendors. And then the live music starts at 1:30.
I spent my money.
And you can take your dog.
You can, there were like 6 or 7 dogs there, all well behaved.
And the popcorn vendor will give your dog popcorn.
Well, and the other thing you get to do is go before, Robin Montero was there, looking at promoting a performing arts center up by the school.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to sign a petition for that. She and a team are trying to look at building with no taxpayer money, just, donations and whatever. But it's just beginning and it's
Can you imagine how awesome that would be?
there are designs, yeah.
We can.
Can we use
I've been-
the SRC? Can we develop part of the SRC into a performing arts area? They must have
Well, there's already a stage.
there already is a stage. Can we, or is the stage part of the gym?
It is.
My understanding is that the school plans to build an auditorium up there, a performing arts center. So I don't know how much extra fundraising needs to be done to school districts.
Oh.
I heard this week from one of their teachers, who's an advisor to our Kiwanis Ski Club, that the school is going to build an auditorium.
Yeah, I mean, so you can go, I took pictures, you can look at my, but go to the farmer's market and look at the booth. They've got, designs that,
Yeah,
I'm going tomorrow. I'm taking Maggie and we're gonna
I think that's great.
We're
News
gonna go to every vendor and try to beg for food.
It's great news that the school is gonna build an auditorium, but we have an idea.
it's a lot of money to be
about
raised. So they're hoping to have it by 2035. That's one of the years she tossed out.
Didn't know that. So,
I mean, so there's,
They have it built by then or have the money by then?
You know, I don't know the answer to that, because 2035 is a long ways away.
Well, maybe not so
Focus on
much,
the
because between now and then, we might be competing for money depending on what we decide to do with the pool. So if we're trying to fundraise for the pool, at the same time they're trying to fundraise for a performing arts center, then we may be competition.
We need to do our locker rooms. Get that together with the school district.
Any more comments on the farmer's market? Do you have anything else, Skylar?
No, I appreciate the board and, your engagement, especially appreciate the extra time that individuals on this group are putting in. I was just, mindful of, with the piece of information that I shared about Tom Horning passing away, how much impact, an individual board member can have, and I think that stands for the five of you as well, and, the benefit that you're providing to the district and to our community and your volunteer service is really commendable and appreciated. So thank you.
Board comment. Catherine?
I would like to say congratulations to Justin and Hunter on their Employees of the Month, both very deserving. Because they're recent seaside grads, so that's very deserving. Thanks to Mary and Bob for your public comments. I like hearing about the swim team making progress. Maybe I can talk my kids back in the pool. Thank you to Celeste for all your hard work on the strategic plan. I'm sorry I missed the workshop. That was my very, very last meeting with the Pacific Ridge PTO board. So I'm very excited to be done with that. It's been an end of an era. Thank you to Zoe and her team for a fabulous farmers market last week. My daughter is participating at a booth every week for this summer for the trying to raise funds for Girl Scouts. So if you need any plants, they're growing plants. So come on by. We did not have a successful booth last year. So we're hoping for improvement.
Do they have a thin
Are you
mint
still
plant?
over the
Because
top
I think,
of there?
They moved.
I think I'd like to grow some thin mints.
No, we do not have thin mint plants.
There's a guy selling felt stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and I took a felt plant over to them saying, this is the kind of plant I raise. And they looked at me like, what's that?
Yeah.
I said, well, you can go buy it over there, because he, the gentleman let me borrow it.
Yeah.
And I just said, I have no thumb. What do you mean you have no thumb? Well, it was actually
Well,
funny.
Michaela should know, because her mother doesn't grow anything, so. Anyway, thank you.
Sue?
So I kind of ditto what she just said. So, Catherine, so first of all, I'm glad you're back. And I just can't say enough about how important Tom Horning was to me personally, as well as CERT with the emergency response team, as well as our city council. And, I'm very moved that, what a good man, and what he did for this city in talking about how he was 10 years old, he was here when that tsunami hit, and he could talk about it personally, and and beyond that, just a good man. And I will miss him dearly. I almost said something of bringing up his name at yesterday's board meeting, and I am glad that I bit my tongue. May rest in peace. The proclamation, yay, Park and Rec. My history, you guys all know me. Every complaint is a gift, so that Secretary of State letter, while it says it's not an issue, don't worry about it, it still comes across as, I feel like somebody was saying, don't cross this line and watch your toes. And so I look at that as an opportunity for us to improve. I want to say thank you to Rick as he retires and rides off into the sunset, and we pick up this, what did you say it was, Clear Trails? So, looking forward to working with them. Grateful for Bob and Mary's input And I really did, I've already said, I tried to reach out to USA Swimming. I've had, nothing but frustration. I did talk to an official one day who said, do the email, we'll get back to you in June. Well, you know, hurry up. Because, like I said, the letter I wrote today, or email I wrote today said, I can show up at your door. So, anyway, I don't know what that means, because I don't know what their hours are.
They don't want that.
No, they don't want that, because they're probably closed. You can't, they don't answer the phone, and the phone, and their voicemail.
Do they all work from home?
Yeah, so anyway, as I move on, I am congratulating Jessica and Hunter. Celeste, as always, my goodness, your contribution to help us is immense, and I mean, I couldn't do what you do, and I'm grateful. The lunch program, I am grateful that Food for Kids moves over here, and the children are fed, starting yesterday for the summer for free. I'm grateful that we could adopt a budget, and we have lots of questions, and we have a team that works well with us, so we'll get those answers, and move forward to make sure that we benefit our community. I'm grateful, for the community showing up last month and us listening so that we could rescind the expectation that we were gonna close on the weekend. And the fact that maybe there's a Sunday out there that will be open, I mean, I can wish. I'm grateful for us as a team, figuring out to come together. You know, there's an issue, so we're gonna come together and work together. And I say that word together more times, let's all capitalize it, because we really are a team, and that is very much appreciated, that there isn't one versus another, we will figure it out together. I'm grateful for Zoe and her farmer's market. I spent way too much money there. She told me that last year. She spent a whole bunch of money, and I said, well, I helped you this year. So, but I had a lot of fun, met a lot of dogs, met a lot of people. There was and then Robin was out there selling this performing arts center, and I said, sign me up, but I need to know more information. So she said, keep coming back. And as you know, Robin Montero, as of yesterday, became our most recent Seaside City Councilor, which unfortunately leaves a hole, a very great hole, in the job she just left behind. The mayor did encourage, you know.
What job did she leave behind? I'm sorry.
She originally was the head, when I first met her, she was the head of the, Tuesday?
Planning Commission Chair.
Planning Commission.
Oh, fine.
And then she stepped away. I think she knew she was gonna apply again for this position, for a city councilor. And so now, that's a big hole, that, I think there might be two holes. And Steve last night, in his closing remarks, said, make sure you're all showing up for the planning commission next month. You know, because we need to be talking about, the 2050 survey and the results for the future. So anyway, I've said enough. I just simply am grateful to be here, and I will say, I will add two things. Crosswalk, you know, maybe there's gonna be a change in the parking, that we lose one parking space that opens up that crosswalk to be more, you can see the pedestrian trying to cross, especially when they're wrangling at one or two children. I also heard, Tita Montero mention yesterday, all the crosswalks wherever she was recently were audible, and you mentioned that. So maybe there's something the city can look at to promote safety, first of all, using the crosswalk. I laugh, I don't think Zoe would mind. She walked across, I was the car that stopped and said, Zoe, go back and turn on that light. And she said, shh, you know, anyway. And then, in the pool, I am grateful for our lifeguards. I do want to support the fact that one of the rules is that we shower and before you get in the pool. And there are people that have given the lifeguards some pushback on that. Like I showered this morning, not gonna shower again. That was a direct comment I heard. And, you know, we shower for a reason, to promote and protect this pool, this aging pool. I wish people, you know, the lifeguards have a right to say you don't get in if you don't shower. But there are people out there that just aren't showering, and I don't know why. And I am ready to say, go get your shower. I have not done that yet. I bite my tongue. But, you know, the rules are there. It's written in black and white. Shower before you get in the pool. And the lifeguard can tell you he's the boss. Anyway, I'm grateful to be part of this team, and I thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Celeste?
I'll keep it short, because I want to just ditto all that you all said, but really grateful for this engaged board and also for having an engaged community that's showing up and giving us feedback. It's great.
Yeah, that's very good. I think it's great to have, you know, to see these, employees honored, you know, with this commendation, recognition. You know, and Jessica, and I, you know, I've been here a while, and, you know, we've seen a lot of people come and go, and we've seen quite a few people stay, and we're grateful for that. But, these young people today that, you know, we recognized, hopefully they will stay and be here and be leaders on our staff. You know, it's great on-the-job training, to be sure. I wanted to comment, you know, on, I could go on about Tom Horning for a long time, but I wanted to comment on an experience I had last week and feedback on our programs. My wife is avid, you know, with yoga, and she participates with Kathleen and Bonnie Cave. But she's taken to coming over here now. She goes to Living Fit, you know, for morning yoga, and now she's discovered the 11 o'clock class with Bonnie. And she comes over to that, and she commented to me, you know, Bonnie, he's an inspirational leader, and he inspires everyone in that class. And Sue was present last week. There was a luncheon at the Trio Loco, something like that. Anyway, and Bonnie's, all of his friends and people in that class, and Sue was there, too, were there, and all engaged in friendship. And there were over, you know, nearly 25 people there. And I don't know who made the beautiful little cupcakes, but I guess just one.
Oh, that was Sandy.
But it was impressed how Bonnie, you know, has brought all these people together and how they enjoy each other's company, as well as the instruction and participation. I thought that was very significant.
Well, and Lauren made the bowl that was given, that was raffled.
Thank you, Mike. Just a couple comments. I never knew Tom. I attended one of his lectures at the convention center on tsunamis and geology, and it was just awesome. He really did a good job. I'm sorry we lost him. I'm sorry we don't have him around as a resource anymore. And whatever we do for his family, just let us know what took place. Bob, I really support Bob Hyman's proposal to get a swimming team. You all know I'm all into competitive swimming. I love to watch the swimmers. And, hopefully we can get this going, but we're going to need a lot more than 10 people on the swim team, maybe 30 or 40. So
I thought he said he had 20.
Well, he was hoping to get 20. I thought he said, but regardless, I think, you know, fill the pool. If we can, let's get as many competitive swimmers. You know, you'll never get a Michael Phelps unless you have 5 and under swimming somewhere, you know, so you really just have to do it. The farmer's market, I hope everybody gets to attend the farmer's market. It doesn't have to be every week, but some week, just watch how well it's done by the staff here. It's really a well done job. Mary, I'm not forgetting our agreement. You got to fill the pool if we open it up on Saturday. So I'm counting on you to activate your plan and get as many people in the pool as we can. And the more people we can get in the pool, the more days and more hours we can keep it open, so I hope to be able to do that. Jess and Hunter, they're awesome. For the board members, I'd like to ask you to listen to Celeste and review the plan within the next 8 or 10 days. You know, she has put in so much of her own time on this, the least we can do is help her out when she has to help, so. The final thing, I've been rehabbing my neck, you know, I had surgery, I've been rehabbing my neck, and in doing so, I've been watching the soccer, the World Cup soccer. Now, to be fair, you know, I was too late or too early for soccer. It wasn't a thing when I was a kid, so I never learned to play. I don't even know the rules, but I really enjoy watching the competitions. But what I enjoy even more than that is listening to some of the foreign visitors talk about how remarkable our infrastructure is, our food, our everything. They can't get over Buc-ee's, or, you know, Costco's bigger than the Versailles, and they can't get over the fact that they have refrigerated rooms that are the size of a French village, and they have these we have air conditioning. You know,
Ice in our drinks.
Ice in our drinks, refillable. I mean, they're just so, it's childlike wonder that they're really just looking at what we have. And sometimes I think we forget what we have. And, you know, here this is a small town in the middle of nowhere, and we got well, really, I mean, we're about as far away from the East Coast as you can get. And the East Coast is where everything happens. So we're a small town in rural Oregon, and we have a beautiful high school stadium. We have a great pool. We have great schools. We have really something that we should be proud of for a town this size to deliver what it can to what it's doing right now to the citizens and for the citizens. And if we can, I mean, it's not our role or responsibility, but if we could get a performing arts center in this town, that would be really cool. I would love to see a bunch of 8-year-olds performing King Lear on the stage at a thing. So if we can make that, it's not our role, but we can assist whatever we can. So that's all I have to say. We can't have good athletes unless we give them a start, and that's what we're here to do. So swimmers, we have soccer players or basketballers or pickleballers, whatever. This is where it all starts. So thanks to the board for their efforts to make that stuff happen. Anything else to come before the board, Skyler? Okay, I'm gonna say the board meeting is adjourned at 7:40, and all in favor